How is it going, everyone? And welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for round number 15 around the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the Jeddah Corniche circuit, as I probably have absolutely butchered the name of that. I am back for this week. My name is Jacob, of course, taking you guys through this. I would say as always, but for the majority of the time, I wasn't here last week. But the man that was here last week, Mr. QVR Verstappen, yeah, how are you doing this evening?
Hello everyone, and indeed welcome to Division 2 again, LOE, running towards the end of the season now. I'm doing quite well, and Jeddah will be definitely an interesting place to have one of the later races in the season, and will probably be very entertaining, I reckon.
I think very entertaining is going to be a bit of an understatement of this. If people do remember from previous divisions, Division 1 and Division 3, if you was watching that just previously, it definitely ended in what I would like to call chaos. And even last season as well, very annoyingly in Division 2, it ended up being a Mercedes 1-2. However, Funky Chicken overtook me on the final lap to take the win in Division 2 last season around here. So, just in case you was wondering who it was that won around here for last year, or last season, shall I say, in Division 2 on the previous game. But I'll quickly just run you through the standings just so you kept up to date with who is where. QBR Killer taking third place last week in Spain with the fastest lap as well. He is on 203 points still in the lead of the championship. 32 points up ahead of the Finn of Rickarik. A bit of a controversial decision from what I was hearing in the stewards room last week as well, but he ended up taking fourth in the end in that race, so he is in second. I said 171 points. Darry is in third, 147 points, not actually finishing in Spain last week either. He is still technically in the running for the championship. In fact, I think the top five, if I'm not mistaken, are all still within the running of the championship, but only by a margin, like a fraction of a margin. So yeah, as I said, Darry's in third 147, Luke is in fourth of 132, and ERT Larkin in fifth of 129. On a bit of form as well. He's won the last two races so far. So, yeah, Larkin could be one. I know it's Jeddah, and it's not exactly favourable on the pad, which is what Larkin is on, but I'm quite intrigued to see if he can make that 3 for 3. I highly doubt it. I'd expect it to be like a wheel driver like Rick, or I think Darry might be as well. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to go down, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And last time Larkin ended up taking the win after his penalty was removed by the stewards. Bunty ended up getting in second place, and then Killer and Rick got all their penalties removed as well, so they're up into third and fourth. So 32 point gap between the top two. Top six, I think, still technically in the fight. 89 points to get, so have to see if anyone else can get in there, but it looks like them two are the favourites. Speaking of which, QVR Keller has started his lap as the first driver out there, 32-2, come for sector 1, and then for turn number 13, very difficult corner actually on traction on the exit. For 14 and 15, 27 turns around here, it's quite a lot, and then flicking into 16 and 17. And for the Old Twisted Straight, which will end up getting one of the DRS zones around here, not a main overtaking spot into turn 22. Let's see the sector split though, which is around here, a 108.7, not too bad. I missed the apex of 22 a bit. Simon has retired from the session coming through turn 4 and 5, so that is not a great start for him, and he'll be near the back of the grids. QVR Killer though coming down towards the final corner. We thought of some controversy in real life here with Verstappen and Hamilton last season, 2021. Let's see, Killer, can he get a good time on the boards? DRS is open for another time. Across the line, a 128.2 is an okay time. I think we'll see some improvements here and there though.
Yeah, no, we certainly will. Luke just starting a lap behind him as well. Lick's also putting a lap on the board with a 28.5. One of the Hasses, I think, will be one of the next ones, or saying that he's actually backed off. So it might either be Rick or Miami. I think it's Rick who will be our next one to complete a lap. Of course, the top two in the championship trying to fight still for this championship lead. Rick comes across the line. It's a 28.7, 5 tenths off of our championship leader. Bunty goes across the line as well, just beaten by about 300ths of a second. Miami coming across the line, do a 29.412 for himself as well. I believe that is Slash just coming across the line, but he invalidated on his lap time on a set of the medium compounded tyre, as well as RJ also going out, interestingly, on a set of the medium tyres as well. So, oh, in fact, actually just almost getting blocked by, I think that was Nolan, almost going into the back of him. I know he hasn't got any, I know he invalidated on his lap, but wow, that was very, very close. Larkin just coming across the line as well, done a 30.1. So I think Larkin's probably going to look to improve on that one, that is for sure. Just trying to see who else is probably coming across the line to finish their lap. Tope, I think, is the next one, as the other three have all invalidated. So we'll see what the German can do. Tope, he's just making his run up towards the line now. It's looking like it's going to be in the 29s, and it is a 29.083. So the first set of times coming in to this as well. Yeah, Kriko just going up into third at 28.5. Nice to see him finally back after taking a bit of a hiatus for I don't know how many races now. But yeah, I mean, as I said, the timers are now coming in. Yeah, a bit slower than what I was expecting.
Yeah, so Dari just put himself into P2. I think the fact is here that the gaps are just huge, and it takes so much for them to get a good lap in and some sort of good times. And yeah, I think it takes a while for people to get to that quick laps. I'll have to see though. Maybe it is just that we're expecting a bit too much. Who knows? But just look around who is coming across the line. Ariel Slash on the mediums actually. See what he does. 28.5. That's not too bad. You know, the gap between the softs and the mediums is about 5 to 6 tenths. So that could end him up already towards the 27s if you counter in that delta. Obviously, it's not on the board, so we can't really. But, you know, it's a good start for Slash, and I think he might be happy with that one.
Yeah, no, certainly would be. There's been a lot of invalidations that have gone on as well, and then I think they've gone for like a second lap to go for like, yeah, I said to try and get a lap on the board. I know Slash was one of them. He's obviously done that on those mediums, so he's at least still got those set of medium tyres. But yeah, it's a bit interesting to say the least. I don't know really how it's going to sort of. I mean, at least he'd be able to go on a set of softs towards the end, and he may even be able to keep a fresh set just in case there's like a late safety car. Or if he wants to try and get an early charge out, then he can do. However, they'll probably die after about 5 laps. So, yeah, the soft tyres maybe not the way to go for that. But I don't know. We're supposed to wait and see with how that could go down for sure. Todoroki. I think if I said that name right, I'm not too sure. I think new to the league, Brazilian. If I'm not mistaken, I think he said last week or the week before when he joined during our break week. Yeah, I haven't seen what he's about at the moment. Obviously, he did the race last week in Spain. What was he like in racing last week?
Last week he looked pretty quick. I think he was going around P7, P8 in the first bit of the race, and well, unfortunately he did crash out in the end, which don't recall too much honestly. But let's see, maybe today he can get a good result on. Coming for the final corner, let's see what the Brazilian does. The DRS is open. And across the line, the Alpine goes a 128.9. Oh, P8 once again. Of course, other people will still improve beyond that. Looking around, who is closest to the end of the lap? I think Evans is actually pretty close. 101 flat. Misses the apex of 22 though. Let's see. If down towards 27, he can maybe gain some time back and get a decent time on the board himself, as he is just now going to break just past 100 meter boards. A bit later actually than that. Late apex here. Don't want to do a Max Verstappen and put it in the wall there. DRS is open once again, and the SMRs and across the line. 128.7 takes the 8 from Todoroki there.
Yeah, not a bad time whatsoever for Evans as well as Todoroki as well. Yeah, just seeing if there's anybody else that's come across the line. Rick, I think, did just finish his lap, if I'm not mistaken. Or started the lap, shall I say. So, I think Ben JS might be the next one, again, if I'm not mistaken, to finish his lap. He's just coming up, or he's in the DRS zone now just before the final corner. So we'll see what he's able to do. I think there's an Aston Martin that has just sort of run out of fuel out in front of him, or might be just starting to his lap as well. In fact, yeah, starting his lap. So we'll may go on board with, I think that's Bunty up in front of him. But Ben JS making his way up towards the line, goes up into P4, a 28.535, a lot of 28 fives, but no one has been able to dethrone our championship leader, and he's staying about 2/10 of a second up ahead of Dari, up ahead of Slash. Slash as well, I didn't realise, 1,000th behind Dari.
Yeah, it's very close there. Obviously, he slashed it down on the medium, so I'll have to see if he can improve a lot on the softs. Just looking around who is actually on a lap. Just a few people starting the laps towards the end there. I think Lix, he was on the lap, he was slightly up, but he's invalidated. It must have been through the chicane. And that's unfortunate to see. He has to go back into the pit. Stoke just starting his lap, and then we have Rick coming around to find the corner. He's actually on the end of his lap. Let's see. DRS open for the last time for the Finn. And across the line, the Ferrari will go 128.2. Just gets him ahead of his rifle for now. And let's see if anyone has a response to that.
Yeah, we shall see indeed. Killer is in fact just gearing up to start his lap now, so we'll run on board with our championship leader. As I was running on board with Bunty, he did spin out of what I think is turn number 15, the elusive chicane. Very sort of difficult to try and you know, keep on board with that. But here we go, Killer through turn 1 or through turn number 2 now, short shifting it up into third as he comes up or goes for around turn 3. That small little kink there. Now through the elusive S section, very sort of difficult, but if you get this right, if you absolutely nail it, it can gain you tenths of a second. So it's important to try and get this one right. Killer riding as much curb as possibly can, as RJ in fact equals Killer's time of 28.294 for the Williams. Nice time from RJ, and definitely one we need to keep our eye out for. But Killer is a 10.5 up on his time. He makes his way around the loop section now of the track, and now a lot of this part is literally just full throttle. So how low are your wings, Killer? Let's have a look. Just keeping it in 5th gear, short shifting it up into 6th, going through that chicane. Interesting enough, might be a better idea, I suppose. But DRS now wide open for the second time in this lap, and we'll see what that time in split is. It's 900ths of a second up, as in fact Killer has just completely butchered that and has spun out of the beginning of sector 3. So no improvement for QVR Killer. RJ, as I said, has put an equal time into Killer on that or in this occasion, shall I say, as well. And Rick, a 28.279 on well, is now going to be in the lead. Creco, a 28.361 for the German as well.
And I think I caught Slash being up on this time. Scroll past him. Quite a bit actually up, but yeah, he's invalidated. So let's see if he finishes. We might give it a little bit of an indication to where he would be. 27.8, right? That says enough on how much time there is in there for him. Of course, it wasn't valid. Don't know how much he gained with that, but usually that should probably be a good indication for him to get up the field. Darius 3/10 up. Let's go on board with him. Coming around to find a corner. See DRS open for the German. And across the line, IRT Dari 128.1 puts it onto provisional pole.
Very nice time from Dari indeed. More games, I think, is going to be the next one across the line as well. I think Lick's just starting his lap, but here we go. More games up to P9. 28.588. Again, just joining in that bunch that are all so tightly compact with each other. Yeah, it's so tight throughout throughout the whole field at the moment, shall I say. Well, from first at least down to around, I'd want to say P10, P11. With Evan sort of with a 28.7, Dario with 28.1, just 6 tenths separating those top 11, so very sort of tight and compact between those guys. But round the bottom moment with Todoroki, as he's just finished at the end of Sector 1 and now is coming up, well, slowly coming up, shall I say, towards the end of Sector 2, as there's been a massive spin, and I think he's made a mistake, or that might have just been lag on our side. I'm not too sure what had happened there. I did also see a yellow flag just further behind. I'm not sure what that was about. I think that was to do with licks, but and I said, still on board with Todoroki anyway. 200ths down on his time as the Brazilian, so he's only got really just this flat out section to go, as well as the final corner. See if he's able to maybe make up some time in that final corner. Let's have a look and see. Of course, DRS is wide open for him, and around the final corner he comes now. Very nicely done. It's managing to take the apex very nice out of there. Early on the power, up towards the line. DRS now wide open for him as well. Is it an improvement on his lap time? Only just by 0.004 of a second. It didn't move him up any up or down any places. Well, it wouldn't move him down, but it didn't move him up any places. Only a 28.993 shows the consistency. However, it's probably not the type of consistency that you'd want.
Yeah, no. He did kind of clip the wall coming into turn 16, and I think that lost him quite a bit of time there. he had to slow down into not invalidate and everything. So he's only in P12 for now, and he'll be looking to improve as he has spun at the end of Sector 1 on this in lap, quite interesting enough. There's a quiet point in the session obviously now, as everyone's going to gear up for the final run, and it's going to be so important to get something valid in, especially if you're near the back currently and you have some decent pace. It's going to be very difficult to actually control that pace and get out into a decent lap, as it's so easy to make a slight mistake around here and you're right into the wall.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. So, Mr. IRT Rex is going to be our next one, or our first one to start his final lap, and he's just over 3 minutes left to go of the session. So this should be the American's final lap. Let's see what he is able to do. Not a time on the board as of yet. Him and Timon that only 2. Of course, Timon is out of the session after, from what I'm hearing, he actually crashed into turn 4, trying to cut too much on the inside of that. So hopefully for Timon he doesn't make that same mistake in the race. But of course, it looks as if he will be starting at the very back of the grid, unless Rex doesn't manage to put a time on the board. We will see anyway. But very nicely done through turn 4, turn 5 as well, coming through turn 6 and 7 through the S section, and all goes very wide out of there again. I don't know if that was just because of lag, because of the ping issue or what, but yeah, Rex looked as if he sort of kept it within the lines, maybe even was outside the lines again. I'm not too sure. Maybe, I don't know if that will be investigated afterwards or not. Again, it could just be due to connection issue. Not entirely too sure, but I think that game would have invalidated him if it was the case he did go out of those lines. So keeping on board with Rex at the moment, he's now got to have DRS wide open, coming up towards the end of Sector 2. What is that Sector 2 time going to be? It's a 101.3. Currently, it says it's purple Sector 2, but I know this game loves to fib about that one. So take that with, of course, a grain of salt. Now, only 2 more corners left to go for Rex as he makes his way up towards the end. Up towards the final corner. What is he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to take that apex very nicely? He doesn't take too much on the inside, but gets a very nice exit, to say the least. DRS now wide open as he makes his way up towards the line. It's in the 29s. It's 29.080 for the Americans. So there's going to be a lot of people trying to go for an improvement, and I think Luke giving a nice little toe to Mr. Ariel Felipe in towards the second to last corner. So Nolan's going to be our next one to complete his final lap. What time is he going to be able to do? I think he's also gearing up to give Luke a bit of a slipstream as well. But up towards the line comes Nolan, and it's only a 29.146 for him. It's 8 tenths of an improvement, and only just puts him up ahead of his teammate. But that's a tall ask for him to try and move up in the field, and a lot of people are now on their final laps here.
Yeah, everyone just gearing up for the final run, and yeah, Felipe not with the best lap all round, but maybe he can help Luke out a little bit. Although I think they're quite close together. He's still ahead of him, so let's see. Larkin coming across the line, he's into P9, so that's a decent improvement for him. Bunty is invalid, not improving there. I think Lux is just starting his lap, looking around. Also the Mercedes just starting their laps as well. And you want to just get this right as well. I thought Slash was on the lap earlier in the bit, so I was focused on him, but he invalidated, so he's trying to go again. And he does have the pace in him, so want to keep an eye out on definitely. As RJ actually goes up into the 27s, that's the first driver. 27.9 is a very decent time there, and I'll be happy with that one so far. Looking around to the rookie, just starting a lap, I think just within the time as the flag is out now. And we're looking at one of the Ferraris who will be first across the line, that will be Rick. And given the timing, I don't think he's going to improve. He has to let the next one by, which will be Luke. Getting a slipstream from Felipe. So the other AlphaTauri just pulls off into the final corner, and let's see Luke. Let's see where he gets himself up to. Across the line, 128.5 into P8.
Nicely done from Luke Miami as well, coming across the line. Didn't improve on his lap time. It's 29.5 for the Ferrari, so no improvement for him. As you say, other people also just making their way up towards the line. More games, I think, is going to be the next one. In fact, he actually comes into the pit, so that leaves that up to, I think that's Todoroki just coming up towards the line. No, it isn't. It was Ben JS. and it didn't even improve. He'd done a 28.505. So a lot of other people making their way towards the line. Bunty P3, a 28.203. Killer didn't make an improvement. Rick didn't make an improvement. Larkin didn't make a second improvement either. So P12 will be where he starts. Of course, our race winner for the last 2 races so far is going to be starting down there. Slash is the man we need to have a look on board with. He doesn't actually get on to the 27s. A 28.291. Splitting the 2 championship contenders.
Alright, see Derry coming across the line now. He can improve 27.8 and puts it up ahead of RJ. Let's see, one of the Mercedes behind, not improving, I think. So the rookie up to the line into 9th, and Lex pulling into the pits. Let's see, it's just Soap, and he is done as well. So it's going to be RT Derry on pole position ahead of RJ. Only 2 people on the 27s with Bunty. Not a good qualifying after, I think it was about 6 where he qualified in Spain as well. So, yeah, he's on a good streak currently into P3 as well.
Yeah, he's starting to find that pace with that no line now is Mr. CPI Bunty, so nicely done from him as well. RJ as well, I think it might be the first time I've seen him qualify so high other than at Silverstone, where he unfortunately wrecked it for himself, but hopefully with Jeddah he doesn't make the same mistake. I feel like he could be one that we need to look out for, and could potentially take the race win for today. Darry as well. Darry looking like he's a little bit more on form as well. And Bunty, very good qualifying session for him, to say the least. The championship contenders, Rick and Killer, in 4th and 6th. Slash somehow managed to slot between the pair of them, and it's so close from 4th down to 7th. Creco as well, keeping within the 10th of those guys. But like I said, Darry and RJ are lined up on the front row in 1st and 2nd. Bunty and Rick on the 2nd row in 3rd and 4th. Slash and Killer in 5th and 6th. Creco in 7th. Evans in 8th. Todoroki in 9th. Ben JS around that top 10. Luke is in 11th with Lix in 12th. Larkin 13th. More games down in 14th. Larkin a little bit lower than what he probably would be expecting, but I know it is Jeddah, and I know he has absolutely cursed out this track to the point where he actually wanted it to get removed earlier on in the season. Rex in 15th, Tope 16th, Felipe or Nolan in 17th, Miami in 18th, Renz in 19th, and Timon, the only one that didn't put a time on the board for crashing out at turn number 4 on his first lap. It's going to be starting at the very back of the grid. Probably because I may have put it a little bit too quiet. I'm going to quickly just turn up the party, or turn up the game for you guys as well very quickly, because I said it was very sort of quiet in the qualifying session, so that probably should be a bit better now, and hopefully you should be able to hear the game as well as both myself and Yer as well. So just waiting, or just loading into the actual race, just waiting for all of them to do their strategies. Anything, anyone in particular that surprised you in that year?
Bunty once again, very surprising there, to get himself up there. And then, obviously, Darry's not had the greatest run recently, I think. He had a few good races in the middle of the season where, yeah, getting a lot of points. I think if he wants to keep the championship alive, this is the way to go. And he's done a very good job at least starting to do that. Let's see what tyres everyone's on, though. And I think we'll see a lot of yellow and white. These softs are not really that usable. And, yeah, as I said, it is only hards and mediums, but it is quite split at the front. With Darry starting on hards, RJ on mediums, Bunty on hards, and then Rick on mediums. And a little group of hards all the way from 5th to 8th, to the rookie in 9th on mediums, then Ben Jess on hards, and then a little group on mediums there from 11th all the way down to 16th, with the last 4 drivers all starting on hards again. And the difference at the beginning of the stints can be quite a bit. At least in the first 2-3 laps, the hards take a bit to get going. After that, it is quite equal, so it'll be interesting to see if the hard runners can hold on to. I'm expecting RJ and Rick to do at least to get up towards the front of the field.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'd expect RJ to get a better start than Darry going in towards turn number 1, or that's what you'd expect anyway. Especially being on a soft compound tyre. Same with Rick. We'll see how they're able to get on. I know what Slash is very good at a race start, so on those hard tyres I expect him to maybe make up a place or 2 as well. We've seen him go from 4th up into the lead, so what's 1 extra position down to try and go for that lead of the race from him. Killer has a little bit of work to do. Of course, he's at a little bit of a comfortable lead, as I said, 32 points in the championship, up ahead of Rick in 4th at the moment, but he wants to try and keep it at that arm's length. Him being down in 6th and Rick being in 4th, it's about, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 4 points difference. If you, unless you get fastest lap, it would be a 5-point difference at most. So that puts it down to 27 points if it was to sort of finish the way that it is going to start. If Rick does pick up the fastest lap as well. So, and with Abu Dhabi, of course, we've got the sprint, or we've got the sprint format in Abu Dhabi for the final round. So, even if Killer goes into or goes from Brazil into Abu Dhabi 27 points in the lead, Rick is still technically going to be in this championship. So, yeah, there's all still to play for. There's still about, I'd want to say, just roughly off the top of my head, there's about 80 points left on offer, just about, as somehow Slash has spun going up towards, no, not Slash, sorry, Todoroki has spun, making his way up towards his grid box, very interesting enough. Or was that Slash? No, that was Slash, sorry. So, yeah, bit sort of interesting. And Timon's also spun it in a straight line as well. So, very quickly, who's taking this? Who do you reckon?
RJ is taking this.
RJ? I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
I think RJ is going to take this. I reckon Dari second, and I think Rick probably comes home to take the final podium position as well. But I think it'll be a very tight-knit battle, to say the least. So, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights for round number 15, and our lights out, and away they go. Not been able to get a very good camera angle, but RJ getting a better start of the two. RJ now up into the lead of the race. Slash as well, like I said, he has a monstrous start. Rick as well down the inside of Dari, has the outside for turn number 2, but RJ manages to take the race lead. Rick up into second, getting past Dari out of turn number 2. Very nicely done from him. Dari jumping down in the third, Slash in fourth, Killer in fifth. Bunty not having the best of starts as RJ spun at the front of the grid. He has gone round going through the S section. I said it would be himself that would mess it up, and well, I feel like we've just completely commentators cursed him, saying we're thinking he's going to win it, because now he is dead last. At the very back of the grid goes RJ. So Rick is now your race leader. Dari second, Slash in third, Killer in fourth, Bunty in fifth, Evans up into sixth. Rex has gone up to 8th, just passing Creeko as well as Miami. Going past more games down up into 11th, but they're still both side by side of each other. And in fact, more games trying to go for that move once again around the loop on Miami, and manages to maintain that position from the Ferrari. But very nice start from those guys. A massive disappointment for RJ.
Yeah, definitely. That's the biggest commentator curse I think in a while I've seen. And looking for him, he's down in last. Bit of carnage between, I think it was Luke and Tope, I think. Todoroki and Lick may be involved in that as well. Then into turn 4 is quite a squeezing point there. As one of the Alfa Romeos round is FDR timing. Second lap he's done that, so not a great start from him. As we do have a VSC now.
Yeah, Todoroki also spun just behind Timon as well. So unfortunately, Brazilian. I don't know if he's in fact got no front wing whatsoever. So that probably explains why that virtual safety car did end up coming out. But other than that, really sort of clean. Other than those back three, very clean throughout this first lap. Rick, as I said, very good start from him. Manages to get himself up into the lead of the race. Managed to get past Dario, and then of course RJ having a spin on his own allowed Rick to go straight into the race lead. And about over a second already. Just through the first lap alone. So I remember in an interview before, Rick was saying that he really does enjoy this track. So I'm expecting him now that RJ has had that spin, I'd be expecting Rick to try and sort of walk away with it, unless there's a later safety car around sort of lap 15, lap 16, where it then benefits the hard runners massively. But yeah, the two Aston Martins, Bunty didn't have exactly a good start from 3rd down to 5th, but Evans having a pretty good start as well. I think he started in 9th up into 6th as well. So yeah, Evans having a very, as I said, a very good start from him. Sorry, 8th up into 6th. And Ben JS as well. Rex from 15th on the grid is now up into 8th as we resume racing once again. Miami as well started in 18th up into 12th now as well, or picking up the single point if you are of course new to the League of Europe. The top 12 are the ones that end up getting points. So at the moment Miami is our final point scorer, but it does look as if there's going to be a little bit of a scrap going on towards the back end of that point system, as Renz and Nolan both going at it side by side. Renz had to go across the corner and gave that position back to Nolan, so Nolan now keeping that P13, but dropped out of the second as well. More games, and Creeko also side by side as Larkin and Rex as well up in front. Larkin has the inside, Rex has the outside. More Games has the outside, Kriko has the inside. More Games gets the move done on Kriko, very nicely done. Now it's up to Larkin and Rex a little bit further in front for 8th and 9th. Who's going to be able to come out on top of that one is both of the Hasses going to be able to hold on. I think Larkin's going to have the inside in towards turn 1, but Rex will have the inside in towards turn 2. A little bit of a nudge in between the pair of them, but very good driving between them regardless, as well as More Games and Kriko. More Games manages to get that position, and Larkin manages to get the position. One Hass loses position, one gains it. Very nice move, nice driving from the pair of them.
Yeah, definitely quite a bit of tight battling. Ren's getting past Philippe as well as it is FPR time, and once again being around for turn 4 and 5 this time. I'm not sure if he has any damage, but in the meantime, look at Rick. This reminds me of last week where it was a little bit wet. This time he's on the better tire and he's just able to pull away. Oh, it's almost 2 seconds of gap already. The front of IRT Darius will be very happy with that one. Just courtesy to not completely mess it up. And should be on for a good chance for the win. Two Aston Martins a bit close together, but looks like Bunty used a bit of ERS to pull away from his teammate. Evans in P6. And although Evans is getting closer again, he got a good exit at turn 22 to 23. Time once again round. All right, start to the right for him as we have another VSC.
So time going around once again has brought out that virtual safety car. Yeah, no front wing once again for him. So yeah.
Someone pitting.
Oh, let's have a look.
Don't know. I feel like someone lower down could pit. I feel like we could see someone. No one's willing to risk it. It's only lap 3, of course. Hards to the end would be possible, but very tight.
I wonder if RJ. I want. This might be a better opportunity for RJ too. In fact, no. He's. In fact, if anything, he's lost about a second from Licks out in front of him. I was going to say RJ might have had the opportunity to do that, but I think he had to slow down majorly for his time delta. But that virtual safety car only lasted a couple, not even, I don't think, a full minute. Time and speed in the pit lane. I wonder if that's an indication that he is finished for this race. In fact, it looks as if he may be carrying on, so it's good to see from FVR timing as well. But yeah, Rick lost a little bit under that virtual safety car, interestingly enough. Not too much though, to the point where he's going to be vulnerable from the DRS, but he needs to get those mediums going. He needs to try and get more of a gap, because when those when those hard runners go onto those mediums later on in the race, Rick is in for an absolute treat. And I think it could make it, or it could cause something very, very interesting a little bit later on. But yeah, at the moment, Rick just holding on to that lead of the race by now, about 2 seconds at arm's length. Darry in second and Slash in third. Killer in fourth. I think Killer is looking, it might even be eager to go for a move on Slash very, very soon. At the moment, no, they're all just sort of running in that box standard DRS train. Ben JS, the first one out of that DRS train from second down to 6th. As the two Alpha Tauri, sorry, it's Alfa Romeos. Alpha Tauri switching, and both of the Hasses, in fact, I don't think they're switching. They're both still battling with each other. More games going around the outside of Rex. I think Rex wasn't too keen on that one happening, but had to let go of that in the end. And I don't know who it was that picked up DRS out of the two of them, because both of their wings aren't open, interestingly enough. So, yeah, but More Games gotten out into the front of his teammate of IRT Rex. Now up into 9th, trying to chase down Larkin on those medium tyres.
Yeah, looking to have decent pace right now. Mediums should still have a little bit of an advantage as of right now, especially with the VSCs, and might have helped them quite a bit. Rick out in front, once again 2.3 now, so gained quite a bit over the last lap or so. Darius is the one with the most ERS around this group though, and he'll be having something in pocket probably. Wait for him not completely rush after Rick, draining his ERS and put himself vulnerable to others in behind, who are all down to around 40 to 50% ERS, while he's still on 75, so I don't think he's in a completely bad position right now. Ben Jess has dropped off the train a little bit. We have yellow flags at the back. That is RJ actually going around through turn 13. Ren's getting past Miami here through this little twisty straight. Luke doesn't stay in front. Luke is also looking for a move, but there's no way to get through into turn 22. Maybe on the exit though, as we have Bunty being passed by his teammates up ahead. But Luke is getting through here. A little bit of help with the wall. And he's into P13. Evans in P5 as well, ahead of Bunty. And I think we have to look at Slash, who's looking to go for a move on Darry. Doesn't look to fight it too much. And the Alpine's into P2.
Yeah, very nicely done from Slash as well. Renz and Luke actually just getting past Renz as well, and Kriko getting past Rex. So Rex really dropping down the order quite significantly. And in fact, I didn't even realise he must have made some sort of mistake, because he's now, he was right behind his teammate. He's now just about 2 seconds behind his teammate. So I'm not sure what had happened with him, and if anything happened with him and his teammate, or if maybe it was contact between himself and Kriko. Not too sure what's gone on with that one. Maybe we'll find out a little bit later on. If anything sort of gets reported with that one. But yeah, it was a massive battle that was going on for P12 for that final points position between Miami. As saying that, Nolan has gone round. I think that's out of turn number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure what had happened with Nolan there, as Miami and Licks as well, both going at it. Miami getting overtaken from Licks on the loop. But he might be trying to go for a bit of a switchback though, but I don't think Miami's going to have the tyre to do that one. Licks on the better tyre. On the soft compounder tyre, shall I say. So, in fact, let's just say that Licks actually goes completely across the corner, and I think Miami's now going to have a bit more momentum than what Licks will do. I don't even know if Licks will actually have any DRS either, but let's have a look and see. As Miami, DRS now wide open. Licks does have DRS. I think Miami, unfortunately for Miami, he's going to have to give that one up. Not best to try and hold that around the outside. If you do that, then there's just no point really, to be honest with you, because you just be asking to go into the wall as Larkin gets a move done on BenJS. But I don't think that's going to be for long, because BenJS will have the DRS on Larkin. Although saying that, More Games is the one that's closer to Ben, and in fact we're going to see the Irishman go for this move on Ben down in towards turn 1. Could he even possibly go for a double on Larkin? No, he's not going to be able to do that, but gets the move done on BenJS up into 8th position, and Luke in fact coming into the pits very early on.
Just may have had some sort of damage, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think they're changing the wing there for Luke, so that's unfortunate for him. In the meantime, in P2, Slash has been burning his ERS quite a bit to try to drop Dari, but it's not been successful. He's closed the gap to Rick a little bit, so I guess that helps him somewhat. But he's down to 14% ERS. And I feel like Dari is in the better position here with still 75%, which is very good to see for the Red Bull. Obviously getting some sort of DRS as well now that he is within none of the technical is around here, so yeah, he will get the DRS once again, and this is only helping Dari, I think.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. Dari, I think, is managing to do very well at keeping up with Slash. I think just all those DRS zones is really what's keeping him within it. If Slash needs to use anyway, it's got to be in that first sector, but it's very sort of difficult because it's all just one big S section, so he needs to try and get a bit of momentum, from what I'm thinking, in that S section if he wants a chance of being able to pull out that gap. But speaking of that, More Games down the inside of Larkin just before the final corner. Larkin, of course, will have the DRS going down in towards turn 1, so are we going to see the race winner for the last 2 races go for this move once again on More Games? I don't think we are. More Games is looking absolutely rapid in a straight line.
Let's say, gee, 317 without any sort of ERS users or DRS. That's quite a bit of straight line speed, and yeah, Larkin just seemed to not gain at all coming into turn 1 anyway. So that's something to keep an eye out on if More Games gets into a decent position. So Luke's teammate Flip is now in as well. He'll be strapping on the mediums, hoping for something better in the second half of the race. Evans is closing up to the back of Killer, and that makes him close up to the back of Dari. So these 3 are getting very close together. I might see a move of one of these, especially Evans looks very racy, and I think he might be trying to go for a move very soon.
Yeah, definitely is looking very close for sure, and I think we might even see a move go down when the DRS gets activated for the both of them. Nolan and Timon also, I've just realised, have penalties for themselves because Timon sped in the pit lane when he first came in. In fact, actually, we might even see Killer potentially go for a move as Luke picking up what I believe the first 3-second time penalty. I think Nolan might have sped into the pits, so I think it's the first 3-second time penalty. As I say that, it's now going to start flooding in as Kriko picks up a 3-second time penalty for himself as well. Dari closing up to the back of Slash, and Slash really low on that ERS. You can see that red flashing light on the back of his car. Dari has 80% to play with, so if he wanted to, he can burn that to go for this move, and that's exactly what he's doing. Going to probably go down the inside in towards turn number 1. Very easily done. Dari up into 2nd position where he was originally. Yeah, very nicely done from Dari. That's all you need to really do.
Yeah, and he's still got the ERS advantage compared to Rick as well, 30% higher than the Finn. And yeah, going to be very happy with only a 2-second gap for now. I'll keep an eye out on more games as well. He looks very quick. He almost dropped Larkin this lap already, and he's throwing that. With that straight line speed on mediums, not burning too much ERS either. Closing that gap towards the Heart group. Could be dangerous towards the second half of the race if you get in the Hearts and has still good pace. Good result in for him as well.
You know, it certainly is. So more games. Oh, as I say that, he has a spin, and more games has gone round. It's another commentator's curse here. I think we've got to stop. I think we've got to stop praising drivers here. I think we've just got to start cursing at them at this point because, yeah, I mean, more games. He's having a very good race up ahead of Larkin in the 7th, and he was looking to try and catch up to the rest of those hard runners. But now, it's basically been null and void, and he's down into 11th. And I don't know if he picked up any wing damage, but he's now been overtaken by Renz and potentially going to be overtaken by Lix as well. Yeah, already gone past him as well. So yeah, unfortunately for more games, he's now down into 13th. Out of the points as all. In fact, Lix and Renz kept it side by side of each other. And Renz just, Lix, that was not good. He's come back on track and absolutely smacked the side of more games. You should not be doing that, as Slash and Killer are both side by side of each other going down into towards turn number 1. I don't know if Slash is going to be able to maintain that position. It does look as if he will, but that was very bad from Lich. That's why you should not be holding it side by side through that fast section, because stuff like that can happen. More Games was just an absolute passenger throughout all of that. And unfortunately, what was looking a very good result for him is now, I think he is going to be out of the points for this race. Unless there's an absolute miracle of a safety car that happens, I think More Games, unfortunately, is out of the points.
Yeah, I'm quite bothered actually that we still, and this is definitely going to be a curse, but we still have 20 drivers in the race. We're going to get cursed very quickly, so let's see who does that. But
my money's on Timon.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm gonna put it on More Games after. Who knows? Meantime, we still have Dari, who's with that ERS advance. You see that creeping in now. Slash and Killer had a little fight on the last lap, and they are struggling to keep with the Red Bull right now, whose hearts are really coming into play compared to the mediums as well. Rick is not being able to pull anymore. He will go into the pits very soon. I reckon maybe in this lap or next lap. We'll have to see about that, what the Finn decides to do. But yeah, this is looking very good for Dari, and I think I tip him as the favourite for now. Rick stays out for now. And all the hard runners predictably as well, so the mediums just don't go from here. Larkin staying out as well, so medium runners not too keen on pitting just yet. And getting the fresher hard towards the end as Rex has a 5-second time penalty for entering the pit lane. He is the one that actually pitted, but yeah, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, no, it certainly won't. That 5 seconds, unfortunately, is now going to sort of put him at more of a deficit rather than actually help him. Going for the undercut, though, so it could be beneficial, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him to get more of an advantage. And again, I mean, he should still be able to get in the points, but it might just be a bit of a struggle. Yeah, here we go. Evans and Killer very close to each other. Killer, in fact, is having that red flashing light on the back of his car. Evans now sees that. Killer going a little bit deep through the loop section as well, but yeah, unfortunately for Evans, he just has to wait for an opportunity, but he knows that red flashing light's on the back of his car, and Evans has quite a bit of ERS to play with himself, so I think Evans, we might be seeing him go for a move, might even be this lap. We shall await and see, and I'll be expecting a couple more of these medium runners to maybe make their way into the pits at this lap, or on the next lap, shall we say, as obviously we're on lap number 11 of 25. Rick's still in the lead, but he's being caught now by Dari. 1.5 seconds separates those top two, and Dari was, I think, 1.9 this time last lap, so 0.5 of a second he's caught him by. I think we're going to see an opportunity for that one, but a little bit further back, like I say, Evans and Killer both side by side of each other. Killer giving the room on the outside. Evans will have the better traction coming on the outside. Rick is into the pits, so he is going to be our first medium runner out of the top block into the pits, and did manage to not speed as well, so that's good indeed. And Evans got the move done on our championship leader. So Killer now down into 4th, Evans up into 3rd position. Won't be a net 3rd because of Rick's just making his pit stop now. Larkin as well follows him in, so they are both making their pit stops now. Where does Rick in fact come out? He's going to come out in front of Renz and Miami. Is Larkin going to be the same though? I think he's going to come up behind his good friend Miami out in front of him. Yeah, unfortunately for him, he is behind him. Rex hasn't even come out in front of Larkin either.
No, definitely not. And like I said, on P11 will be good for him. Meantime, Dari is pulling away. He's seeing the guys going through, and I think he's just keeping his own pace and managing to actually gap Slash, or at least make him struggle so much that he's not able to stick easily, at least. I think just within the R7's a big snap of oversteer there, and the Aston Martin looks very racy once again on the back of the Alpine. Let's see if he goes for a move down towards the hairpin last corner potentially. Needs to get a good exit out of here though, and get on to the back of the Alpine. Let's see, the earth will be open for both of them. And can Evans get alongside Slash and can make the move work? Let's see. Towards turn 27, no, he's going to refrain from it, and maybe down towards turn 1, he's going to get onto it.
Let's have a look. Keeps it in 5th gear going through that corner, interestingly enough. Or short shift down from 4th to 5th as well. In fact, Darry and Slash are coming in, which is, yeah, that is very early. I know the mediums can go to the end, but that's a really, it is a massive struggle for those mediums to go to the end of the race. And we saw it in Division 1, Rudy getting a puncture literally on the final corner. So, yeah, Slash and Darry, I think this is a bit of a risky play.
Slash is ahead of Darry.
Oh.
I'm not sure how that happens. Slash, well, Darry must have been held in the pits in some sort of way. But, well, Slash is down ahead. So, yeah, that's very peculiar. But look, they're not far off it. Slash gets a free second play penalty. He's going wide on the cold tires, and that's going to harm him quite a bit. Now, Darry, we have another Alfa Romeo around, which is a FER Simon. Big shock there. And, yeah, well, let's see. These mediums are not too far behind Rick, and especially, obviously, Darry will be now the one in favour with the medium tyres and no penalty. So more games in the fast lap of the race. So, he's about 2.5 seconds to bridge. Let's see if he can do that. Rick ahead on the hards. The hards are definitely not bad race tyre either. Not going to be too much slower, so it's not going to be easy to say the least. Bunty is going for a move from Killer down towards the last corner, and there's no fight there. Killer is sucking in behind the second Aston Martin. And let's see, because one of the Aston Martins will probably pit this lap. Evans is staying out, Bunty is coming in, Killer is following the Aston Martin in, and just taking that pit entry a bit safer. Yeah, they're going to go to the mediums. Let's see where they come out compared to Slash and Darry.
Yeah, and Ben JS has also followed them in as well, so Ben JS has made his way into the pits. Bunty looked like he got held up slightly, but I think was still okay with his pit stop regardless. Ben JS is coming into the pits. These are all now coming out of the pits. Where are they in relation to them? Rick has actually come out quite significantly ahead of them. Bunty as well, coming out behind Darry by about 2 seconds, and on colder tyres. Killer has actually come out ahead of Larkin by quite a significant amount as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happened with that, but Slash has come out in front of the lot of them with Darry, and Darry is the one at a massive advantage. So yeah, Bunty, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, he managed to get past Killer, but unfortunately it is now almost 3 seconds behind those guys out in front of him. And Killer, now with a little bit more ERS to play with to his name, as Ben Jess picks up the 3-second time penalty, but Killer now having a bit more ERS to play with. Bunty, of course, also regenerating quite a bit of ERS, but yeah, Killer has now got that a little bit extra amount that he can use if he wants to go for a move on Bunty, as Bunty completely cuts that chicane. Yeah,
and that's going to allow Killer to get through now. And yeah, I think Bunty maybe just tapped the wall on the right hand side. I've done that quite a bit myself, so not too surprised to see that every now and then as well. Yeah, it allows Killer to get through. And Renz is still on the back of this, of course, not all the tyres, so that's a bit. See, Darry is onto the back of Flash though, and it looks like that it's not going to be a contest whatsoever. Darry through into 4th, and now he can do the catching himself as the top 2 are in, so Brick is going to be running back into the race lead, and it's going to allow him to try and defend his lead. Let's see where Evans comes out as well, because he was obviously ahead of Bunty, and see if he is still ahead of Bunty and then Killer as well. I think he will be actually. Looks like he's done the pits quite nicely here, well ahead actually. Ooh. He's right behind Slash. I reckon Killer and Bunty's hits were just not that good, not that strong. Maybe a bit conservative on the pit entry. Who knows? But they are having a little bit of a gap to bridge. Let's see if they can do that.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. So yeah, Evans, very nicely done as well. Considering that he's on cold tyres, manages to take through that S section quite nicely, keeping in the DRS as well of Slash and Darry. But yeah, Rick is now up into the lead of the race. 2.5 seconds separates Rick and Darry, and if anything, It's looking like those hard tyres for Rick are working a lot better than what those mediums are for Dari currently. It's very strange to see. I know Rick has got barely any ERS to play with, and he's playing it up with that as Luke is in fact out of the race. Luke has crashed through the S section, and we have got a full course safety car. So the ones that have only just pit are probably kicking themselves right now, as they could have probably been towards the top end of the grid. Renz and Tope are going to have a bit of a benefit from that, Renz especially. But yeah, unfortunately for the rest of them, it's going to be interesting. Is Rick going to pit though? That's what I'm questioning.
That's my question. That's my question. Is he going to decide to now pit and just time is faking if it's there? I don't think Rick is pitting. I think he wants to take that track position. Of course, you would only go to mediums from here. The softs are just not going to be good enough. As we do have slash in, and that's when I can actually see why he's doing that with that penalty. I might as well just get the newer rubber in and hope that works a bit better. Although he did still have decent track position and, you know, not too old medium, so it is a gamble. Not too far down, then to P9 he will be, no one clear enough. Renz obviously makes sense that he pits, because he still had to. Rex off slightly all the hearts sort of makes sense as well, and I think everyone in behind beyond Miami is maybe looking to go into the pit as well. Yeah, Rick valuing the track position here, and you know, he has the pace for it. If he can stick with Dari, which I reckon Dari will get in front at some point, considering he's on the mediums, there is a chance here. But obviously Evans, Killer and Bunty in behind, they've been looking pretty quick as well. So it's not as easy as he'd like to have it for the fifth, I think.
No, it certainly isn't. He ran away with it at the start of the race, but now he's got a bit of a task of holding the rest of them back now. The roles have reversed. Is Rick going to be able to hold on to the rest of these guys? Evans is in actually a is in a prime position as well. We can't forget about him. Only one lap of medium compound tyre. Again, he's probably one that's kicking himself that if he just stayed out one more lap, then he probably would have been in the lead of this race. But I suppose hindsight is a beautiful thing, to say it the least. But yeah, Rick's still managing to maintain the lead of this race, of course, under this safety car. Dari's in second, Evans in third, Killer in fourth, Bunty fifth, Lark in sixth, Kriko seventh, Benjes in eighth, Slash in ninth, Renz in 10th, Miami in 11th, Flicks running out the top 12 and the final points position. However, he has a penalty to his name, whereas Rex, Pope, RJ, Todoroki all don't, and same with more games, and they have all just pit for fresh tyres. So yeah, I think Licks could be a bit under trouble from the rest of those guys. Miami could look to also jump up quite a few positions if he can keep it clean on the track and keep within 3 seconds of those guys, of the 4 guys that are in front of him. I mean, it could be a very good result for Miami. We'll wait and see, but at the moment Rick is the one that is looking to try and maintain the top of this. If he does win this race and Killer does finish in 4th, that's 13 points he gains in the championship. That means it drops down to 19 points. He will be back within a race win of his championship contender, and I think then things are definitely going to start to spice up, especially in those final 2 rounds. However, I know that he is I know Killer is quite favourable around Brazil, but with the rest of these, I think it's well, all of these tracks really are ones that suit Rick for sure. I think Brazil, I think we're going to see the factor if he's going to be able to get the if he's going to be able to take the championship then, or if Rick is going to be able to have a massive catch up, and of course, as I said, we've got a sprint race and the full race in the final round of the season for season number 8 as well.
Yeah, it's definitely looking to spice itself up towards the end of the season. Hopefully, we get a good title fight then towards an Abu Dhabi. Obviously, it'll be a bit bigger the range that you need to be in to be still within the fight. 37s to be picked, which is 37 points to be picked up at Abu Dhabi alone. Another 26 at Brazil as well. So, you know, there's a bit bigger of a chance if you do well at Abu Dhabi and your rival doesn't, that you are able to, you know, close up a little bit here and there. See how that goes down there towards Abu Dhabi. As the final drives are some time actually going back into the pits onto softs as a brave choice if he catches up, that is. So he might be out for another lap actually.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think safety car is going to be in this lap. I don't think Nolan and Timon are going to get close enough. So I think we're going to have another lap under the safety car. Timon has gone for an interesting strategy on a set of the soft tyres. Not sure why, but he's gone for him anyway.
Yes, you might as well. You're down in 19th. You have a 3-second time penalty as well. Yeah, I get at least trying to sort of something to, instead of just following the rest and doing the same thing as them. As yeah, confirmed that we do get another lap, so we'll have a maximum of 7 laps of racing. This is just going to benefit a Rick as it takes the tire life out of the mediums a little bit, and you know, that's going to help them always. So we have Licks actually coming in as well. He's going to follow his teammate and go into the softs. I wonder.
What could actually be quite smart is if Timon again pits on this lap, and I feel like he might do. If he pits again on this lap to chuck on another fresh set of soft compound tyre, if he has it, he will then, because he would have taken out a bit of tyre life on this. Yeah, they're both coming in, so this is smart, very very smart from both Nolan and from Timon. Chuck on a fresh set of the soft compounder tyre, exactly what Lix has done. Catch up to the safety car. You'll be on the freshest compounder tyre. I know they probably last maybe about 6 laps, but I mean that's how many race laps we're actually going to have. Maybe 7. I think it might have actually pulled a blinder with these 2, these 3 even. Saying that though, Nolan stayed on the mediums.
Yeah, he's it might have been a fresher set of mediums that he's come back onto, which in that case does make some sort of sense. And yeah, but that's interesting to see, to follow these alphas and see if they are actually going to be able to make some moves up towards the latter stages of the race. Probably everyone being on the mediums is not going to be too easy, especially because they're fresher mediums. But at least they should be able to get past more games and you know, pick up a few of the current creatures, which I reckon we'll definitely see happen. Yeah, the last few are just catching up, so we might have the safety car coming in this lap. I think we definitely will. Maybe a slightly later call, but I think it's not going to be too much of an issue. As time is coming through. And there we have the confirmation that the safety car will be in this lap, and Rick will be leading it.
Yeah, so we'll see how Rick fares on with the safety car restart, going very slowly as well. Wants to try and make sure that those medium compounder tyre are not going to be heated up whatsoever. So he's going as slow as he possibly can. Where is Rick going to opt to go? Is he going to opt to go before the final corner? After the final corner? Maybe even during the final corner? We saw it in Division 1 where they go sort of very wide out of the final corner. And I'll just get this off your screen so you can see it. When he's going to opt to go. There you can see they've all stopped weaving because they don't know when Rick is actually going to go for it. When is he going to go for it? Darry's trying to almost pull up alongside him. Oh, he's actually hit him under the safety car, which is very interesting. And yeah, Rick now has gone. I don't think there's been any sort of penalty that's been given. But yeah, here we go. Evans gone past Darry before the safety car line. He has to back off of that one. Killer's now going to have an opportunity to try and go for a move on that one. But no, Killer had to back off in the end. Creeko and Larkin side by side as well. Larkin going to hold it down the inside into turn 2. And I think Larkin has managed to hold that position very nicely down from him. Ben JS as well. Looking to see if he can go for a move on the German. But unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do that. A little bit side action. As that's... Oh, Renz.
Oh. Yeah, just that broke himself into turn 4, and Bunty is round as well, coming through the S's there, and yeah, it's just all unfolding there. Yeah, Ben's just too late on the brakes, coming into turn 4, and Ben just a victim there and not really able to do much about that. I definitely think we'll see something in the series about that. So Rex is getting past Slash here. Slash is one side, but yeah, Slash holds that. Rex is backing out there. Rick, in the meantime, he's almost got a second on the hearts.
Sorry, Rex has just gone round as well out of the chicane, so he was right behind Slash, and unfortunately the American now also going around. You've had a potential P6 with those guys in front of him having a penalty, but sorry, carry on, yeah.
Yeah, Rick pulling away from Darry is quite also see as Miami picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. And let's see where these mediums goes. Renz is actually retired here through turn 22 and 23, and we have another safety car.
Oh dear, dear.
Who's going to pit? Who is daring to pit? Rick is not. Top runners are not eager to pit, so Renz has now left the session. And yeah, not a great play from him, to be honest. Miami's the first one actually in. Time is not going to come in. The softs have worked quite decently for him, I have to say. He was all the way down in 19th for the safety car race, so he's up to 11th. Of course, Miami just pitting there, but you know, it's definitely not a bad show so far. If we can keep the softs alive to the end, there is a chance he still gets some sort of points here. And yeah, it might actually pay off somewhat for him.
Yeah, no, certainly will. So, who is going to be the one that leads the longest in this race? Is it going to be Rick or is it going to be Berman Islander? I suppose we'll wait and see in these last 5 laps of the race, because he's now out for the second time within the space of 5 laps. So, yeah, it was a very messy safety car restart. I said Bunty having that spin through the S section. Ren's braking extremely late, hitting on the side of his teammate and Ben JS as well. Which explains why Ben's now down into 18th position. Bunty's chucked on a fresh set of mediums. Miami's chucked on a fresh set of mediums. Nolan and Rex have chucked on a fresh set of softs. More games still on those 5-lap old hard tyres, and Timon up into 11th with 2-lap old soft compounder tyres. So, yeah, Timon has had a very good safety car restart. What was of that safety car restart, shall I say. Evans as well had a very good safety car restart. Dari, I think, is now going to think twice of trying to line up alongside Rick on a straight line, because otherwise then, well, he'll now suffer the consequences of that, as Evans was trying to go for the move. Unfortunately, it was before the safety car line, so he had to give that position back, and I don't think Killer was expecting that either. I don't think Killer hit into the back of him, but was very sort of close to hitting him. Larkin still in 5th on those hard tyres as well. He's not having a bad race either, considering where he started. He's not having too bad of a race, but I don't think he will go for any sort of moves on his teammate unless his teammate makes a mistake. I think Larkin is going to try and do everything he can to help his teammate out in trying to get this championship for sure. But at the moment, Rick, as I said, is gaining 13 points on his championship rival, with Killer being down in 4th and Rick winning this race at this moment. However, Dari could play a massive fiddle in that, and it could still be one race win with the fastest lap point if Dari does overtake Rick. If Evans even gets past Rick, then Killer will still maintain a race win, at least up ahead of Rick, going into the second to last round of the season. So it's all still to play for in these last 4 laps. We saw this in Division 1 as well, yeah, but both of us experienced it. I wonder how this is going to be in Division 2.
Yeah, we saw in Division 1 it all got bunched up quite a bit, and then towards the final corner we even got the race winning move anyway being done. So it could go all down to the wire. I think we'll the 6 car might, yeah, we'll definitely go in this lap. We'll have another 4 laps of racing, a bit more than we had in Division 1. This could be a very interesting ending, and see if Dari and Evans, because last time out on the mediums they didn't have a good restart at all compared to Rick, who just managed to pull the second and actually stayed there. So it could just be that Rick has that much pace on him currently that he just feels that comfortable on the hearts and be able to pull away. But interesting to see if Dari and Evans and Killer potentially as well, if they can challenge this Ferrari for the race win and snip this race win off him again. We've seen it so often already this season that Rick starts off the race really well, and then something in the second half of the race happens where he just gets dropped down the field a little bit and just doesn't seem to favour him. But maybe this time round he can actually make it work, and the safety car will be in his lap the second time.
So we'll see. Rick going to lead, of course, this second safety car restart as well. We'll see how he's going to be able to do this one this time. I said I don't think Dari is going to line up alongside him this time. I think he's definitely thought better of that for sure. So let's have a look again. I'll hide the UI so you can see when Rick is going to opt to go. On the left hand side of your screen you can see him making his way around the final corner. Safety car has already gone into the pits. When's Rick gonna opt to go? He did it around here last time. He's done it again at the exact same point, and he has read that beautifully, has Dari, and so is Killer on Evans. Evans, in fact, might even be under pressure from Killer now. Killer's going to try and go around the outside, down in towards turn 1, and have the inside for turn 2. The championship leader, showing why he's the championship leader. Think he's going to have that move done, or Evans is going to have the better traction coming out of turn number 2. They're both still side by side, a little bit of wall banging between the pair of them, but Evans has to give that one up. Very nicely done from Killer to get that move up into 3rd position. Very well coordinated from our championship leader, and that I think brings that back well, he still beat one, just under 1 race win ahead. It would require Rick to not win this race as timing goes around once again out of the S section. So those soft tyres that worked for him, but unfortunately has now plundered him down to the back of the field. Rex very close to the back of Miami as well for that P13 position. As always, a massive scrap going on back over here. Rex, Bunty, and Licks as well. And in fact, Miami trying to go for a move on Licks. Don't think he's going to go around the outside. It's now going to leave him vulnerable from Rex. Rex might even try and go for a move on the Ferrari as well, but no, has to back out of that one. 3 laps of racing. Oh, sorry, 4 laps of full racing we will have. And it means that DRS will get enabled on the 24th lap. Timon once again going around out of the loop section. And I think Timon is basically out of this one. Unless another safety car comes out now, I think Timon is basically out of the points and not able to pick up anything for tonight. Bunty gets past Rex as well. For P14 Miami as well as Licks. Very close together, side by side of each other on those medium compound tyre areas. Miami, Licks trying to go for a bit of a switchback on the Ferrari, but Miami gets a better traction out of the corner. Very nicely done from him up into P12. He's of course got Bunty and Rex on with no penalties behind him, so he's going to have a bit of trouble trying to get out of that 3-second gap and trying to get any sort of points for this evening. But yeah, I managed to stay out ahead of Licks. Licks was trying to look for a move, but unfortunately couldn't go for anything for the Alfa Romeo driver at all. So yeah, it's all kicking off. It's all that's Rex that's gone around. Rex going around out of turn number 4. Don't know if he clipped too much on the inside or if he just put his foot on the pedal very early. But unfortunately, the Haas is now gone round out of turn number 4. And it's now a 4-way fight. I say that now. Actually, it's basically a 3-way fight. Rick using as much ERS as he possibly can to get out of that 1-second gap from Dari. And it's working. Barry, I don't know why he's not using his ERS to get back within 1 second. Of course, DRS isn't going to be enabled until next lap, but he needs to do it.
He's now doing it. I think he's trying to make sure Rick doesn't have anything to defend with at the end, but he's going to stick with him to at least attack it. And I think Killer and Evans are feeling the same thing. Let's see, Evans is now looking at the back of Killer once again. He's getting right of his gearbox there, around the outside now, through this curved straight. Let's see. He's having to back out, but down towards the final corner we might see him move. And then a lunge, not quite. And Killer is having to wait out. In behind we have Kriko looking on the back of Larkin with Slash up here as well. The front, I don't think we're going to get any move for P2, 3 and 4, so Slash is now alongside Kriko for P6, and they're both closing up to Larkin. It's going to be 3 wide down towards turn 1. Slash on the inside, Larkin in the middle. Slash backing out, Larkin staying ahead, and great defense from the McLaren there. Just holding out on the Kriko in P6 and Slash in P7. RJ is looking on the back of this as well. And Tobe is not too far off here either. At that time, this round once again. Just not this day for him. Let's see up front. We have Rick now down to 10% of ERS as Miami is round as well. 3 S's. Dari is down to 30%, and all these guys, apart from Evans, is slightly higher on 45, but these guys have no ERS anymore.
Yeah, so it's now going to kick off, but Dari, I think, might have just clawed himself back into DRS. In fact, I don't think he has. He hasn't clawed himself back into DRS. It looked as if he did through the loop section, but I think Rick manages to get the traction better out for that. As a Killer, massive moment out of the chicane. It's now allowed Evans to go past. Evans is now up into 3rd position. Killer is going to be kicking himself that he's lost that position. Now down into 4th position. Larkin, his teammate, is now going to be massively under pressure from Kriko. We're getting a nice helicopter shot of this one, but Kriko is really on the back of Larkin now, and I think Larkin's going to be a bit under pressure from Kriko, maybe even from RJ. More games as well, back up into 9th position. Him and RJ have had a very good recovery so far as Kriko straight down the inside of Larkin, and even further behind, more games trying to go around the outside of Tope. Tope maybe even trying to look to the inside of RJ, but Kriko gets the move done on Larkin. Now up into 5th position. Killer also trying to go for a move on Evans, so he's using his ERS. Both of them are using it. Killer's going to have the inside for turn 1, but the outside for turn 2, so has to back out of that one. Now onto the final lap of this race. Evans maintains at P3. Larkin not able to get back past Kriko. However, Kriko has that penalty, so he's probably not going to try and overtake him too much, because otherwise it's going to allow RJ to try and go for a move on Kriko as well. But yeah, Larkin is probably just going to sit behind the Mercedes just because he can see the penalty out in front of him. But at the moment, Rick has done a sublime job of maintaining this P1. It's not over, as you say, though. Literally, on the final lap, we could see a move go down as Nolan having a spin through the first X section for the final time of tonight as well. And more games and Tope both side by side through the loop section. I think more games had to back out of that one. Tope manages to hold on to that one in the end. Bunty picking up a 3-second time penalty, but we're going back to the front end of this grid because this is where things are going to kick off. Tope, in fact, makes a mistake. He's not got DRS, so Dari, no DRS for him. Not Tope, sorry, yeah, Dari, no DRS. Evans has DRS. Are we going to see Evans take a P2 for tonight? And looking like Rick is going to be able to take this victory. Dari's managed to claw himself back into DRS. I think this is going to be our finishing order unless Evans can go for an absolute send in towards the final corner. Let's have a look and see. Is he going to be able to do anything? No, he's not. A little bit further behind though. RJ and Larkin both going side by side. Now RJ gets the move done on Larkin. Larkin's going to hold it down the inside of the Williams driver, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with that one. RJ with a better traction comes across the line to take the win for this evening around Jeddah. Dari in second, Evans in third, Killer in fourth, RJ does take fifth in the end, Larkin takes more games, but seventh after all of that. Kriko in eighth, Tope in ninth, Todoroki in 10th, Slash in 11th, and Ben JS taking the final point position after having that collision with Renz, or after Renz sort of breaking really late and into the side of Ben, still manages to pick himself up a point in the end. What a battle that was throughout the whole field. Look how close it was between each of the drivers. From well, the two MLE guys of Kriko, Tope, and even more games very close to each other. Larkin and RJ are side by side. Dari, Evans, and Rick so close all together. What a race that was in the end as well. Yeah, so tight knit. And to finish it all off, we're all just watching time and doing some drifts around the streets of Jeddah.
Yeah, definitely. I have to say, I think what cost Dari the win in the end was that sector 2. He seemed to just lose a little bit of time to Rick every now and then. I was on board with him for the last lap. It was about 7 tenths behind going into that loop section, and then coming to the DRS detection point, which is only about 3 corners later. It's just, it was not there anymore. So, I think that is the part that just not... yeah, that just might have just cost them the win. That ended up 3.5 tenths behind Rick. Despite that, so not having DRS even for the first of the 3 straights. Got very close in the end still, and you'd expect if there was one more lap that was more of a challenge for Dari, but it looked like Rick managed this perfectly, and he's taking the win.
Yeah, so very well done indeed to Rick. Again, just absolute masterclass of a drive. I wasn't really sort of challenged throughout today other than that final lap. And those 2 safety cars, I think Rick was probably hoping they were not coming out, but they did in the end. He wasn't fazed by them and still ended up taking the win. Valiant effort from Dari and from Evans and Killer. The top 4 so close to each other, but in the end, Rick was the one that managed to take the W. That's Dari in second and Evans in third. Evans back on the podium as well. I think this might be the 2nd time for this season. I think Evans is on the podium, so yeah, nice to see him, of course, back on his took actually a podium in Austria. So yeah, 2nd podium of the season for the Welshman. And Dari, as I said, he's trying to claw his way back into this championship fight. He's still not out of it for finishing 2nd and Killer finishing in 4th. But again, he's just holding on just to dear life. He'd need Killer to DNF basically in these last 2 races if he wants a chance of being able to still be within this championship fight. But Rick, as I said, took the win for this evening. Dari in 2nd, Evans in 3rd. Killer in 4th, RJ in 5th, after having that spin on lap 1, made a very good recovery to say the least. Larkin in 6th, more games in 7th, with the fastest lap of the race as well, so nicely done for the Irishman. Kriko in 8th, Tope in 9th, Todoroki in 10th, Slash in 11th, as I said, Ben JS taking the final points position. Licks in 13th, Rex in 14th, Bunty in 15th, Miami in 16th, Nolan in 17th, Timon in 18th, and then Renz and Luke are only 2 DNFers for this evening in 19th and in 20th. And that was a very good race. Very chaotic towards the end, however, very good overall. And of course, we are going to be doing some podium interviews for you guys as well. And we're starting off with our 3rd place finisher, Evan. Mr. Joshua Evans, what a race that was from yourself. I don't think he was expecting... well, I say he doesn't think he was expecting P3, but you was driving very comfortably, and I would say he was probably quicker than Dari at certain points in the race, just getting held up by Killer a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Once we got into the top positions, I was holding with my mate who was just giving me the hand in the party watching the stream. I was I was handling the ERS management and the tires like tenfold better than everyone around. So it was a bit of a patient game at the top. So when I was at the top before the safety cars, it was purely just wait for them to start flashing like it's Christmas. Get on with it, and then just wait for them to battle themselves, and then find my moves because I was on a higher wing setup, so I was brilliant in the fast corners. I was getting great exits out of the S's in sector one where I got close to making a few moves.
Mm.
For doing the low speed corners, it was a bit tricky, but yeah, I was a bit annoyed with the safety cars because I think it was going to be my race if they didn't interfere with the first one. I would have had a good chance of winning it
Mm.
with the amount of laps we had left, and obviously I was doing well in the long term after a few laps when people were exacerbating their batteries. But after the second safety car, it only left us with like 5 racing laps, so I knew it was going to be tricky. Dari wasn't really holding great pace to the hard runner up front, which was a bit odd initially. He eventually caught up, but he caught up at the best time possible to give him a bit of DRS in the last lap to keep me just behind. But yeah, it was a brilliant race. Everyone was wicked. It was mega clean. There was no bad incidents. It was. I'm happy to take a P3 as long as the racing's that good.
Yeah, no, it definitely looked very clear. It was very clean up front, and it was so tight between. Well, it was very good battling between yourself with Killer, with Darry, when with Rick as well. When you were sort of battling with each other at one point as well. Um, you must have been kicking yourself though. That first safety car came out. You pit literally just a lap before. There was a chance you probably would have
No,
been in the lead of the race if you'd have pit the lap later. But you must be kicking yourself, right?
no, I can't predict the future. Shit happens. Sorry, but yeah, no, no, it came out after. I can't tell what's going to happen in a lap or two. So it's just the way it panned out. I just got to deal with it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was, as I said, I was saying it in the streams. Our hindsight's a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, you can't predict it, like you say. It is
Yeah,
what it is, but still P3 nonetheless. Very good result. Second time on the podium as well this season. We look obviously to Brazil for next week. Is that a track that you're maybe hoping to try and keep up this podium streak in? There's been literally I said podium in the last or 2 out of the 3 races. Yeah, you hoping to try and keep that streak up at all?
I'll try, but I'm crap at Brazil.
At least you're honest with
Not a
that.
track for me.
Fair enough, fair enough. But as I said, at least you're honest with that one. Yeah, any questions for Josh for tonight, so?
Might be more focusing on the other race then. How do you feel about your chance at Abu Dhabi, the last one?
Yeah, I'm alright with Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi's good fun. I'm one of the probably minority that loved Abu Dhabi before they changed it. I'm on wheel, so a bit of wheel tax there. But yeah, I do like the track. It'll be good fun. Hopefully the racing's as good as it is, and yeah, I think I can do well there. Chance of podium again. But yeah, Brazil's a bit of a bogey one for me. It's a lot of slow exiting corners, a lot of traction zones, not suited to me. I like the faster paced tracks.
Fair enough, and congratulations on the podium.
Cheers, mate. Cheers for your time, both.
No problem at all. I don't think we're being joined by Darry and Rick from the looks of things.
Rick's there.
So I didn't see Rick join. Sorry, my apologies, Rick. I didn't see it didn't show up in the party for me. So yeah, yeah, we'll move on to our race winner. Rick, as I said, apologies, didn't show up for me, but that seemed like quite a race for you up until those safety cars came out. How was that race for you?
It was probably one of the most awful race in terms of sweating because of the street track nature, and then trying to keep all the guys behind without any DRS for myself and low on ERS. It was very stressful. I'm very happy that I got the win.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like it was a very good, a very sort of, I'd say comfortable, but those safety cars, as I said, really sort of hindered it for yourself. When you'd seen those safety cars come out, did you maybe have like a thought of potentially maybe making a pit stop? I saw at some point it was like you stayed out, you firmed it on those hards, and it worked out for you. But was there any sort of thing in the back of your mind like, should I pit, should I not pit, that kind of thing?
No, it's the track position is everything there with the DRS train. Would have lost podium definitely by pitting. So no, yeah, and I saw when I pitted on hards and then Darian slash pitted on mediums. I don't know if they were battling, but I was able to keep that couple of laps, 2.5 to 3 second gap, so I knew I had the pace to fight with the hards, even if the safety car came.
Yeah, no, I get that, and it's a bit of an outlandish one, but back to obviously in the qualifying session. I know you was out on your final lap. I'm not sure what had happened with that, and then you saw that it was yourself, Slash, and Killer were all sort of close together. With that, was you expecting to be sort of almost leading in the first lap, as RJ obviously messing it up for himself?
Yeah.
That launch off of the line, was you expecting to go for that lead in that first lap, or was you gonna try and sort of play it out of the long game and wait it out, that kind of thing originally?
Yeah, after the qualifying, my strat was just to get ahead of Bunty because he started on hards, which I did, and then I got luckily past Dari with the traction with the mediums, and then yeah, then obviously RJ pinned it. So, and I managed to pull up that more than second gap. So it was the first stint was just using the ERS to stay ahead and not to battle with the other guys. But no, it wasn't my plan to go P1 because RJ was on mediums. My plan was to follow him. Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. 19 points now separates you and Killer. We've got 2 races left to go. Of course, the final one is a sprint and feature race, so there's more points on offer for that. But Brazil next week, how are you feeling about that?
Ooh, I think Jake is gonna be good in Brazil. I don't think I can beat him, but I'm backing everything on Abu Dhabi with the sprint, more points available. I'm hoping I can get a podium in Brazil, but I don't know. Just try to stay within a race victory at least in the points.
Yeah. All your chips on the red, black, green, and white. It's fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, any questions for Rick for tonight at all?
Yeah, definitely have one. Going through the safety car restarts mostly. I saw you just burn off your ERS right away. Was there any thought of, well, if I mess this up and not get clear, I'm gonna be very vulnerable. Is that,
Yeah,
consideration you made, or?
Yeah, that was my decision to go as far away as I could and hope that Killer and Evans battle with Dari, and it kind of worked. I was just over 1 second, a bit under the last couple of laps, and I was sure the last lap I'm gonna get past because I had no ERS, and I managed to pull up probably my best first and second sector of the whole race for the final lap. So I was very happy to to win the race.
Yeah, fair enough, and good to see it worked out for you then.
So, as I said, I don't think Darry is joining us unless, again, I'm being absolutely blind and I don't think if he is in the party, but I haven't seen him join, and I don't think he usually joins in for podium interviews anyway, so I'm going to be under the assumption that he is not here, and that would be it for round number 15 of 17. Yeah, any closing thoughts for that race for tonight at all?
Championship fight's spicing up, and I'm definitely looking forward to see the conclusion of it, because it's looking like it could be a close one.
Certainly is. I think that's gone from 5 people in the championship fight now down to 3. Keller, Rick, and Darry. It's all down to those 3. Who's taking it? We've got 2 more rounds left to go. We'll wait and see. Thank to everyone that has tuned in for tonight. Make sure you guys are tuning in for next week for round number 16 around the Brazilian circuit of Sao Paulo. Make sure you check that out at Division 1 and Division 3 at 6:30 p.m. GMT. Division 1 covered by James Head and QBR Killer, and Division 3 covered by Jess and Evil Dragon, and in Division 2 and Division 4 at 8:10 p.m. GMT covered by myself and QBR Verstappen for Division 2 and Division 4 of QBR Packer and QBR Maverick. So make sure you guys are checking all of those out. Championship battles are still going on everywhere other than Division 1, but it's still quite spicy in that anyway. So make sure you're all tuning in to all of those streams. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in, and we'll catch you guys next week, as I said, for round number 17.